Hello, everybody. It's Anna Bautista, your confidence and empowerment coach. And if you're here, say hi. And if you're watching this on replay, say hashtag replay in the comments below. It's been a while since I've been live on Thrive After Trauma TV, but also since I've been live in general. And I went for a holiday. I went to see my family in Croatia. I really loved it. I really needed that rest. I enjoyed every single bit of it and got some good self-care scheduled in there. So it was really, really lovely. And today I will be talking about thriving after childbirth. And I know this is a channel about thriving after trauma, and I know that not in everyone's case, childbirth, like not everyone will have a traumatic childbirth experience. For me, that was the case, but even more so, I wanted to tackle this topic of finding and loving yourself after childbirth because, especially if you're a first-time mom, I'm pretty sure that that whole thing hit you like a ton of bricks when it happened. You most probably didn't know how to deal with it. There were so many things to absorb, even just before your actual childbirth. But after that, most probably you've had friends, family offer comments, offer their support. You know, everyone has an opinion how you should raise a child. And there's nothing wrong with that, like everyone is entitled to opinion, but when you are a first-time mom, especially when the baby comes, you're dealing with so much, like the experience itself, whether it was traumatic or not. Experience of childbirth is a huge thing, and you've gone through it for the first time ever. And I know that for me it was a bit of traumatic because my son was taken away. And unfortunately, I can't see comments. Let me check. I'll use my phone just to see comments if it's coming up. Give me a second. Oops. I can't even see the hearts or anything, which is annoying, to be honest. Okay. Alrighty then. So, just the act of childbirth is a huge thing. There's you've brought another life to the world. You've gone through that, and for me, it was a traumatic because not everything turned out well. My son was ill, and even just that experience of the first 3 months for me was mind-blowing, because there's just so much new stuff that you need to learn about yourself, about the little one, because they don't come with the instruction book. And I remember sometimes feeling lost, not knowing what to do, what am I supposed to think, how am I supposed to take care of another human being. Everything is different. My relationship with myself is different. My relationship with the husband is different, because it's not just the two of us. There's this new human being that you are responsible for, and it's a shock. I don't know anyone who hasn't said that it was a shock for them. Like, it's a huge shock to your body, and it can be a bit overwhelming. And for me, what I remember was I didn't know. There was a time afterwards that I didn't know who I was, or I didn't know what to. I didn't know, like, what do I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know what to do with my business. Someone is live with me watching, so give me some love. Nothing is showing up. I'll try to check here just so I can see properly. Hi, and know who it is. Okay, give me a second. And I can't see who it is. Never mind. Say hi. And for me, like, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do with my business because before I gave birth, my business was really doing well. I even had to refuse some work because I just couldn't keep up with all the demand that I had. People were asking for my help. They wanted the support, and I had to refuse a couple of clients because I just couldn't handle like the intake. And then trying to figure out how to do business while the little one is really, really little, no support and everything. And I was lost. I remember feeling really, really lost, not knowing what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to grow? And how that looks like, what do I want to do in future? And I knew for me that I wanted to be a coach. There was always that underlying desire that I wanted to support other women. I just didn't know how is that gonna look like. And I remember feeling lost. And what I want to say that it took me a while to figure out who I was, who am I as a mother, as a wife, as my own human being, you know. So one of the things that I did really early on, not to get lost in the a mom bit of everything that was going on, because for me it felt like everything is about being a mom, everything is about breastfeeding, everything is about taking care of the little one, and I didn't have anything else that kept that made me remember who I was. So very early on, I went on and started working. For me, that was really, I started working, even though it was exhausting at times, but I think it helped me keep me sane in certain situations, because when everything about motherhood felt overwhelming, and me seeing everyone else and how they're doing and comparing myself to them, it felt like I didn't know what I was doing and I was doing it wrong, and I was doubting myself. I felt like I'm just like a milking cow, excuse the language, but basically that's how I felt, because I was constantly breastfeeding. And even though it was my choice, it just, at times it wasn't really it wasn't really enjoyable. I didn't enjoy it at times, especially because we had issues around that and about sleeping and about breastfeeding and all that stuff. And I just remember that I wanted to, I made sure that I have something which is for myself. And for me, that was working on my business. And I started really early on. I started working for my clients, doing the work for my clients as a virtual assistant and online business manager. So I started when my son was 5 weeks. And of course, um, I'm not judging here, but or anything telling you that you have to go to work that early. But for me, that really, really helped. It was something to take me away that reminded me of my old self. Whether that was good or not, I'm not gonna go into that. But for me, that kept me sane and kept my mind sharp, because I was focusing on things other than baby stuff, and that was really important for me. And then the things that helped me somehow find myself and go from this feeling on of go from the feeling of being lost and not knowing what to do to actually know what I wanted to do with my business and actually enjoying and loving myself, especially because my body has changed so much. Unrecognizably, I've gained so much weight. The energy levels that I've had were nowhere to be seen. And for me, that was a really huge hit. So it took me a while to find out, uh, to love myself, love my body, and love the new me who I was. And what helped me, and maybe if you are in a position that you have just gone out of a relationship and you're having an identity crisis, maybe you're even divorced. And I'm not divorced, I'm married, but I think from one of my friends that I know, she's going through the divorce, and I think you can draw a line between those feelings of feeling lost, not knowing who you are, losing your identity, not knowing how your life is going to be after that. And I think you can draw a line between that and use the same principles of moving forward. So a couple of things that helped me, and these are like basic things, but I found things that are really for myself. So last year I joined the gym. That was really something that I love doing, going to the gym, uh, because that was my time out from being a mom and everything else. Uh, I asked myself very often, what do I want? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Who do I want to be? How do I want my business to look like? How do I want my life to look like? And that was really, really important for me to sit down and journal on it and just write, ask myself those questions. And, it might be difficult to think about who am I and who do I want to be in 3 months? But maybe if you give yourself a bit of a separation of, okay, who do I see myself as in a year, or how does my life look like in 1 or 2 years, or even five, then you can work backwards. Okay, what do I want to do? And let me check. Okay. I can see someone popping up, but I can't see who it is, unfortunately. So, and I've made a couple of things. Excuse me. So I just want to emphasize finding time to spend with yourself, by yourself, to think through. Like, I, I know it can be challenging when you're a new mom, finding time for yourself, but I can definitely understand you on that, because I don't have a family support in here. It's just me and my husband. So there's not much time or wiggle room where I can find some time for myself. Just gonna move this bit out of the way. And so finding the time for yourself, that's really, really important, even if it's once a month. So you can this is what I used to do on the weekends. My husband would take care of our little one, and sometimes I'll just go Saturday morning, I'll go out, go have a coffee for myself, and just enjoy being who am I, like not having to think about taking care of another human being responsible for anything like new. And maybe that's not like the right way of doing it, but that definitely helped. Just sitting down with myself, going out shopping, and doing something on my own, because it gets you uh, out of that state of mind of, oh, I don't know who am I've got no time for myself. So it just enforces that energy of, I'm okay, I'm fine, everything is okay. It gets you in a different state of mind and a different vibe. And as I mentioned, journal on what is it that you'd like to do in the future, and even if it's not after childbirth, even if it's after divorce, and you're trying to figure out how does your life look like, because it might be difficult to imagine how your life will look like 3 months after you've just ended a relationship or got divorced. But think about what do you want to do, and what are the things that you like to do. And if you can't remember what are the things that you like to do because somehow you lost that part of yourself, I suggest you start doing random things. So maybe pottery, go for workshops, go for dancing classes, yoga, try something new, because that way you'll see things that you don't like, or like, of course. You're going to find what is it that you like and what is it that you don't like, and so you just keep crossing out things that you don't, and eventually you'll find what you like doing. It's just about remembering of what did you enjoy. And if you think about yourself when you were younger, when you were a child, when you were a teenager, what did you like doing? Because that's where you'll have some clues. For me, that was dancing. I love dancing. I love singing. So those are the things. I found a couple of new hobbies on the way. So I like photography. I like learning about photography. So for me, that's one thing that I wanted to know more about. Keep a gratitude journal. However simplistic this is, um, when we are in that state of mind of thinking, not knowing who we are, and um, not recognizing, everything has changed, and you might start feeling like you have lost something. It's really it can be sometimes challenging thinking, oh, like being grateful for things and recognizing the good things, and keeping your gratitude journal and thinking about the things that are positive right now. What are the good things, how that you're in what ways has your life changed uh positively? What has improved your life since you've done that? What is still good about? What do you still appreciate about yourself? What do you still appreciate about your body? Because I remember for me, there was a huge body confidence issue because I couldn't recognize my body anymore. I couldn't recognize myself when I looked myself in the mirror. That wasn't, and even the energy levels, that wasn't the who I was, because I used to have quite a lot of energy. I can do whatever. I was really tough, strong, and I didn't feel that strong after childbirth. So basically, just simply keep a gratitude journal and start writing out the things that you love about yourself, that are positive about the current situation, and keep on writing every single day. Even if it's once a week, twice a week, it's better than not having, because it's going to shift your focus on um, what you don't have to what you have. Now, there's this might be controversial. Not everyone might will agree with me, but I think one thing that you need to remember is the things will not be the same. The things have changed, and if you wish that things will go to way they were before you, before the divorce, before you gave birth, before you ended the relationship, before you moved somewhere far away, it's not going to be the same. And that's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the change. You can't go back to the things how they were before, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the things will change. And I think the big thing about this one is that we need to accept it. And I think once you accept it, it's going to be a lot easier to move forward. I remember for me it was, oh, how I wish of going back. Sometimes, in the darkest um, times when you're so exhausted and when you're so drained, and I would think to myself, oh, how I wish I could go back and sleep. And I just want, I just want rest. I just want to be able to sleep 8 hours in, like, even just like 2 hours or 6 hours in one go without having to wake up every 1 hour. It was so draining for me. Uh, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who would feel drained like that. And I wanted things to go back, and I thought, oh, how I wish I could go back and I appreciate what I had. And silly, I know, but I want to be honest with you because I know that there will be people thinking the same, and I think that's normal. I think there's nothing wrong with that, but we also need to remember that it's good that things have changed. It's good that things won't be the same as they were, and we need to you know go forward accepting it. And as I mentioned in previous point, is that we need to keep a gratitude journal, or just simply write down things that are good as a result of the change, because that will keep you um, looking forward rather than backwards. So think about, like, how your life has improved. What will it allow you to do? How is your life going to change for the better because you made a choice to leave a relationship or get divorced, or you got a child? How is your life going to be better i- for that change? And that will help you move forward. I know that if you're watching this and you have gotten a divorce, and most probably you have kids that you'll be sharing custody with your spouse, with your ex, and there will be times where it's going to be difficult. You're going to spend Christmases or New Year's alone, holidays, whatever, and it might be difficult to go through that process, and you might feel alone. But I want to invite you to use that opportunity to take good care of yourself, to take time to take stock of what's going on, to just breathe, to relax, to do something that is only for you, to take that time and use it as a space for your healing, for your to nurture yourself, and to work on how can you move forward. So I hope that helps. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, let me know. But for me, it was really important to discuss this topic. I know I'm not alone in feeling like I've been lost for a while, not knowing who am I, and how my life is going to look like, how my business is going to look like, because that was one huge um, aspect of everything, is that, okay, now I have this a little person that I need to take care of. What do I want to do? It just puts everything into perspective, and you need to realign your business goals, your life goals a little bit. And for me, that took a while to figure out. And I became passionate more about certain topics that I didn't even think about I'll be passionate about. And I just explored this, saw where it led me. I think I'm even more passionate about helping women because I've gone through this experience myself, and I've seen the impact it makes being a mom. And that's why I'm passionate about working with moms, with women who have had troublesome times, and whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you haven't gone through trauma, but maybe there were a couple of things that, like one big trauma, maybe there were just a couple of different things that kept on coming up, and it wasn't anything major, but the series of small things, and even it might be even divorce. I know someone who was going through divorce, and it wasn't the huge thing. It was just a constant day by day exhaustion, stress, arguments, and all that stuff. And even though it might not seem like trauma to someone, it can be traumatic, because it just leaves you feeling like lost and not knowing what to do and exhausted, and you just want it to be done. So I hope that was helpful. This Thrive After Trauma TV is going to be going once a month. I have started them as every 2 weeks, but I feel it feels good to go back into once a month topics. It allows me to work on a different project. I have something else coming on my mind. I have in 10 days I will be on the stage, sharing a stage with 20 other women who will be speakers. I will be speaking on the stage for the first time, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's about Women Who Dare to Desire conference. And what I found the reason why I joined this conference, the reason why I wanted to speak at this conference, and even if I wasn't the speaker, why I would go for the event, was because I am aware of how empowering it is to share a room, share a space with women who are vibrating at such a high level, who are there for something bigger, for a change, who are there to make a difference in the world. And I know that and I've been to similar events, not this event, but I've been to a similar event where the energy is so high, and there is no way you can go away from that event and that you haven't changed. It's impossible to go home the same person. There will be something that will help you make that shift, that will inspire you, that will help you grow. So I will include the link to Women Who Dare to Desire conference. The tickets are really, really affordable. I would love for you to join us. It's on the 31st of January. It's a whole day event. There will be singing, 20 women, inspirational women sharing their story, sharing how they overcame their challenges. And I would love for you to join us. I'm sending you lots of love for today. All my love. Bye-bye.